Hello everyone, Minmax Munchking again, and today I've prepared something absolutely ridiculous and totally non-min-maxy, totally non-optimized, and still way fun, and I still think way useful. The idea is pretty simple. Get as many cantrips known as possible. In order to do that, we will have to be multi-classing in and out of 8 out of 12 classes in total. So the only classes that we don't need are strength-based ones. So barbarian, basically. Out of that, we pretty much need everything except for ranger and paladin, right? Yeah, basically that. Ranger, barbarian, paladin, and monk as well. We won't need monk. Yeah, with that said, you start with 14s and 13s as listed here. The starting race is tiefling, because tieflings learn thaumaturgy cantrip starting from level 1. So that's already one, right? And we need as many as we can get. The maximum I managed to collect is 35 out of 43 total. Found in Player's Handbooks, Sword Coast Guide to Everything, a Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, Elemental Evil, and Senator's Guide to Everything. Sorry. Now, as you can see, Wizard and Sorcerer have the most access to the most amount of cantrips out of 43 that you can find in these 4 books. Warlock is behind by around 10. Obviously, these two classes have they have no class specific cantrips, but all other classes on this list have. Starting from Warlock with his Eldritch Blast, Druid with 5 Druid only cantrips, Bard has only Vicious Mockery, which is class specific, and Cleric also has 4 Cleric specific cantrips. With that said, as you can see, we are heavily going for that cheese with all the possible choices we can get that just maximize the amount of cantrips we can get. So for example, Illusion Wizard gets another additional cantrip, Minor Illusion, at level 2. Land Druid gets additional Druid cantrip at level 2. Arcana Cleric gives you a bonus of 2 Wizard cantrips at level 1. Celestial Warlock gives you 2 additional cantrips at level 1, which are Light and Sacred Flame. Arcane Trickster Rogue, again at level 3, you get additional you get Mage Hand plus 2 Wizard cantrips. All of these classes, except for Bard, because no Bard college gives you additional cantrips, as far as I know. And if I'm mistaken, correct me in the comments, please. And while you're doing that, like, share, and subscribe to my channel, because why not, right? You're here, you're watching this video so far, so far so good, right? And if you like this type of content, do that. And don't forget to hit the bell button as well to get notified in the future. So yeah, all of this combined amounts to 35 out of 43 cantrips. This is how we do it. Level 1, we take Tiefling, however you pronounce it. Race, we get Thaumaturgy cantrip. Magic Initiate feat we will get either from Land Druid level 4 or Illusion Wizard level 4. This is not something that is urgent, but yeah, definitely one of these ability score upgrades. You only have 2 at level 20. Sorry, I couldn't get more in order to get more cantrips. I mean, you can get more ability score increases easily, 2 more or even 3 more, by just increases these 3 classes, but then you will have around 27 or 28 cantrips compared to 35 that you have here. And remember, we want to have as many cantrips as possible. Yep. That said, you will take druid cantrips, because druid is kind of like in a bottleneck situation, because it has 5 druid only cantrips and you can only learn 4 if you are a druid at level 4. Obviously you can learn more later. So we will take we'll take both druid cantrips with the magic initiate feat. Cleric list cantrips, we are going to combine 3 classes to get all the cantrips from the cleric list. One of the 9 cleric cantrips is already learned by a tiefling race. The remaining 4 we are going to get from Divine Sorcerer, Arcana Cleric, and the Celestial Warlock. Obviously, Sacred Flame Light and Divine Sorcerer has access to Cleric spell list, and Cleric has Cleric cantrips, right? So yeah, with that said, Bard list cantrips, obviously 2 levels, 1 level of Bard gives you 2 Bard cantrips. You take Vicious Mockery and Friends, because bards are friendly. Druid list cantrips, we already have 2 out of 5 druid only cantrips. We take the remaining 3 and the Magic Stone as a 4th cantrip that you can take with the Land Druid 4. Warlock list cantrips, as a 3rd level Warlock, you have 3. You still only have 2 Warlocks, Warlock specific. I mean, Warlock cantrips from the Warlock cantrip spell list, which are Eldritch Blast and Prestidigitation. Sorcerer list cantrips, you will only be able to take Dancing Lights, because you spent 3 out of those 4 Sorcerer cantrips on Cleric spell list here, obviously. But still, another cantrip, 1 by 1. Wizard list cantrips, this is the most extensive list. You get 5 from Illusion Wizard, you get 2 from Arcana Cleric, you get another 3 from Arcane Trickster, and you get 2 from, 2 from Eldritch Knight. I'm sleepy, I don't know why. Anyway, that's a lot of cantrips here. Finally, last but not least, 3 Tome of Pact of the Tome Warlock Boon cantrips, which can come from any class. Gust, Acid Splash, Poison Spray. You have access to all kinds of damage types, and on top of that you have access to pretty much every useful utility and non-combat cantrip that you can imagine. So yeah, you will be able to just cantrip your way out of most situations, unless it requires a spell. Now, spell-wise, you will only have access to 2nd level spells. Those are going to be your highest level spells from Land Druid, Wizard, and Celestial Warlock. Those are the only 3 classes that are going to get you 2nd level spells. However, you are going to be around, if I'm not mistaken, 13th level spellcaster. So you will have access to 7th level spell slots. And that means, that's at least how I would do this, to remain just a little bit competitive, useful, kind of try to be optimized. You will take, I would take personally, a Shadowblade spell with either the Wizard or the Warlock, doesn't matter, because it scales. The Shadowblade spell scales. I already talked about it in another video. Check out my channel, check out my first video actually, because that spell scales very well with spell slots, and you get a 7th level spell slot, which is the highest spell slot that scales with Shadowblade. And Shadowblade basically creates a 5d8 weapon of psychic damage type in your hand, and due to the fact that you have Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade cantrips, yeah, I mean, this cantrip, that spell is kind of good to have, right? So yeah, I mean, your stats are not going to be that great, because if you take the what's it called, Magic Initiate feat with, for example, Illusion Wizard, you only have your Land Druid level 4 to get that ability score increase, and at that point you can pretty much increase your Dexterity to 16 and use your Dexterity as a ability for your Shadowblade. Yeah, I mean, I won't go into the deep details, but as you can see, this build has a crap ton of classes, a crap ton of cantrips. I didn't manage to figure out a way to get even more than 35, but let's face it, I mean 35 out of 43 cantrips. Those last 8 cantrips are pretty much shit, in my opinion. Blade Ward, I don't know. Create Bonfire can be useful, but meh. Frostbite, meh, you have Ray of Frost. Infestation, all of these, except for maybe Shocking Grasp, but even then, you have Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade to compensate for the lack of, well, there's no lack of meal options with these two cantrips. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's just ridiculous, the amount of classes and cantrips you have. And if you like this kind of content, I have even more. I have some crazy ideas that I still haven't like fleshed out on paper like this. But yeah, if you like this type of content, like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button to get notified in the future, and I'll bring more of this type of content on top of my usual stuff. Yeah, that's it. MinMax Munchkin out, and goodbye.